All right, so when you go to plug your car in, this is the screen that's going to come up. And every day you want to charge within your daily range, which is right here. This will prevent you from overcharging the battery all the time. Right. If you leave it up in trip, that's perfectly fine on a road trip, but your car is going to ask you, are you sure you want to leave it up here? And if you're on a road trip, you can continue to say yes, but typically you want to stay here. All right. And the car will also has the ability to charge at a certain time if you get better rates. So let's say you charge at 12 a.m. or 1 a.m. That's better for your electric bill. You can do that there. And also, you can vary the rate of charge depending on how many amps are coming into the car. If you have dual chargers, you can get up to 80 amps. But most of the time, as we discussed, you're probably going to have a 220 volt outlet, so you're going to be charging on 40 amps. You don't really have to touch this. The only time you would probably touch this is if for some reason you're tripping a circuit breaker, you can pull less amperage off the line. But the car typically will not allow you to trip the circuit breaker.
Okay.
All right. And here is your home link, so you can set it up for multiple homes. Your garage door openers, sometimes lighting on the outside of the house you can do as well. And then units and formats. So these are your app screen. Eventually this is going to fill up with a bunch of different features on the car, maybe self-driving stuff, some cool stuff coming down. Driver profiles, each one of you can have your own profile because there's so many things you can save, screens and all this stuff, driving modes. Just set up your profile the way you want it, just hit the button, hit your name, and you're good to go. Units and formats, if you're taking the Canada trip, you can switch just on the fly to Celsius. And then these are just your settings for the car, auto fold mirrors, stuff like that. Preconditioning is really cool. If you use the car on a regular route, every day it will actually start itself up and the heater and precondition the battery pack. So pretty awesome.
Yeah. I like that.
And then just alarms, displays. You have a night display and a daytime display. This will change automatically. Something that's really cool here, they added a screen cleaning mode so you can see all the fingerprints without having to touch every button when you go to clean it. So you used to have to reset the car to get this screen. Now you don't have it. And this will just back out right there. Done. Your home link and driver assistance. So this is what I was talking about with the autopilot. This is all we have now for autopilot, more coming. Collision warning, it doesn't stop the car, but it tells you if there's an impending crash. Eventually that may stop the car. Speed assist, this is something we talked about where you can have it chime or display if you're going over a certain speed limit.
Okay.
And lane departure warning, it'll rumble the steering wheel. If you decide that you're not paying attention, you're going to go into another lane, it'll rumble the steering wheel. And then overtake acceleration, this is really cool. On cruise control, if you put your left signal on, it'll accelerate assuming that you're going to pass, so the car will pick up as you go into the left-hand lane. It doesn't do it in the right-hand lane for some reason, so I wish it did.
Well, that's just a software glitch.
Exactly. No glitches here. And then you have your music. You can get any kind of music, regular radio or internet radio, and you can call up songs just by voice command. Play the Beatles, and it'll play any song you want to from the Beatles.
Wow. So I don't need my iPod anymore.
No, probably not.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's all free. That's all part of the structure. And you can move sound anywhere you want to in
How
the car.
about that there, Motown?
Yeah. So I can move sound. And then your equalizer buttons over here. And this is where you get your software updates. And here is what was pushed on the car, the last one, in version 6.1 of software. Traffic aware cruise control, auto high beam, all these things were added to the car just overnight.
Wow.
So some of the things you were talking that are coming down the road are just an update.
This car will have all the features of autopilot. Every car since mid-October will have every new feature available going forward for the life of the car, which is crazy, right? Bluetooth, just you can set up as so many people on the phones in this car. And then your 3G signal. You were pulling Wi-Fi from Marriott. This is how you're gonna get your software downloads at home. You can do it through 3G. It just takes a little bit longer.
Okay.
And then your phones are here, so you can connect the phone. You can add any of these on here.
Yep.
And down here is like the good stuff. So your sunroof screen, which we won't open today, but you basically just slide this back like that. And there's a one-touch side here, and then this line is the comfort position, just in case you're on the highway. The sunroof is so large that it might flutter a little bit, so you don't have it full open on the highway. You can put it in the comfort position.
Cool.
Yeah. And the suspension system, this is pretty cool. You can put it into a very high position right now, and the car is going to go up to about 6 inches higher.
Oh yeah, it's going up now.
Yep, you can feel it.
I can see that.
So you get to about 6.5 inches off the ground, and then it goes down to 5.2 inches. And then if you get to a spot where you think you're going to bottom out all the time, you click this as an auto raising position. Every time you come back to this location, it will auto raise for you.
Like our drive-in two-story drive.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, so it's a looking at GPS to see
enabled.
where you were. So if you have on very high to certain, right? Oh,
Exactly. As long as you're not going fast, because it won't allow you to go up when you're going fast, because if you were going fast, you wouldn't need to be in the very high position.
Yeah.
So as you can do it, like I have a driveway at home, I dip down. The entire summer, I had to keep pushing up the suspension system. Now that same car has the ability not to do that. It'll do it on its own. Driving modes, you can change super easy steering to sport steering. Your acceleration is here, and then range mode. This is where you would change your regenerative braking. Cold weather package.
Yep, very key.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially around here.
Exactly, and you throw the heated mirrors on too just by hitting the rear defrost, and now you have red mirrors here. And we used to have this, so you had to actually turn all these things off, and I guess customers were saying, why do I have to do this all the time? So they just added a button as a software download that shuts all the seats off.
Okay.
And your trip computer displays, and that's right, it brings us to the end.
That is cool.
Yeah.
That is cool. Awesome. So we probably traveled all over the place, and that thing there said 231 when we left, but we were pushing a puppy, so that's
yeah,
only
you were
200
using
miles
some
left.
juice. And then
Yeah, we
one
were
thing I
using
really
some
want to
juice.
show you guys is when you do go far, these red dots are in your navigation system. Those are your supercharging stations. It's going to be a little slow to pick up because of the 3G signal and the weather and the whole thing, but
Yeah.
this is where you do your road trips. So these red dots
Ah.
are your waypoints.
Yeah, there's the one we stopped at in New Hampshire.
Mm-hmm. And what's really cool is, like, let's say you want to go to here. It's going to click navigate. On the left side of your instrument cluster is your turn-by-turn navigation.
Yep.
And then here,
Proceed to the highlighted route onto North Road.
if I click this, it'll tell you what it's estimating what your round trip is going to be, and it's saying you're going to need to charge before you get to it. When you get to this area, you're going to have 23% of your battery left. So it really tells you that you're going to need to stop if you're doing a round trip. You will likely make it. I would use this 23 as sort of saying, you know what, I'm going to supercharge a little bit before I get there. You know,
Yeah.
I always like to have a reserve. You know, and there's your whole country.
That's cool. You guys are really doing great. Wow.
Oh, and Europe.
Oh, jeez.
Look at Europe. They have so many charging stations there now.
Oh, wow.
This all happened within a year.
Really?
Yep. It's much easier to do it. They're much more open to electricity.
Not like us stupid idiots here in the
Yeah,
States.
Well,
it's
yeah.
tough here.
They more understand nuclear power. They're
Yeah,
not like
that's
the
true.
idiots.
Well, they don't want to buy any oil over there.
Yeah.
We don't seem to care, but yeah. So this is all going to be filled up within a year from now. You'll be able to hit most of the remote areas of the country.
Wow. Except you can't do much in Kansas or Missouri.
Your trips are just a little slower, and you're going to be more creative. That's all.
That's all.
KOA
Yeah.
campgrounds, and you'll be parking next to RVs.
Yeah.
You can use the RVs plugs. Our customers used to use that, traveling back in the day. And they all use universal plugs, so we sell those.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Energy consumption screen. And then you can do it by instant. You can plan out a trip. This is your trip to the next location in navigation.
That is cool.
Web browser. The 3G is going to be slow, and we just have bad weather
Yeah,
today.
yeah,
So.
yeah. That's cool. That's
So,
pretty slick.
so after you've been driving around this car around here,
Yeah.
all day, how are you going to charge it?
Well, they have actually 2 chargers here.
Oh, yeah,
And
they do?
they're Tesla chargers with 80 amps of service, which is nice because this car has dual chargers in it. and we'll hit Milford on the way back to New York.
Okay, but you can do it here.
Oh yeah.
So no, they have it here.
We have
the
2
Marine.
Tesla chargers, and they have regular charging for like a Chevy Volt. Just right around back.
Oh, cool! I didn't know that.
Yep. It's called destination charging, and it's charging that our companies set up with local establishments, and we try to do it in more remote areas, but places that are nice, where you can have dinner and you can stay for the night. And so they'll put in Tesla chargers, and you can follow it. It'll end up in your navigation system too.
Cool.
And then if we hold this down, you can actually change this to your energy screen, or you can change this to your trip computer.
Oh, okay.
You can change this to your music again.
Very much like an Audi feature. Okay, I'm going to shut this off.
All right.
Thank you.